Welcome, this is Maria Victoria Garcia. I'm going to be presenting my project 4. I'd like to begin by mentioning that my look at trigger, which worked before I completed the rest of the assignment, is not working anymore. I've spent some time troubleshooting, and I feel it's time to move on from this so I can start planning my final project. To begin, I'm going to open my macro library, and I'll show that I have my is player looking at actor here. The input goes to the branch and then the output. From actor to test, we get the actor location, and we get the vector between start and end with the player pawn's eyes viewpoint. So if we come to vector between start and end, just subtracting there. And if you see for some reason why my look at trigger didn't work after I added other things, please let me know. I'd be happy to fix it and learn from the experience and hopefully fix my grade as well. We then normalize and get the dot product and the cosine. We check to see if it's greater or equal than. And that gives us the Boolean of whether is or isn't looking is going to happen. The third macro is actor player class. Okay, now we're going to look at the function, and that is in our third person blueprint. And this presentation is different in that I'm starting with the blueprint and then doing a walkthrough through the level. So the functions here are vector between 2 points, the subtraction once again, and is actor in front. So we get the vector, we check the location for self and the actor to check, get the dot product, whether it's greater than or not, it's going to tell us whether it's in front of. The safe use of a tick event is in this trigger, the look at trigger. On event begin play, we set actor tick enabled, and let's just print this string to make sure we can find. We shouldn't come into the world directly in the trigger box already. But this will give us a clue as to why it stopped working after a while. So now we have, if we were already overlapping with it, the tick is enabled. If we come into the overlap and it is the player, then we enable the tick. If the actor ends overlap and it is the player, then we disable the tick. On the event tick, it's going to ask, are we looking? And we come to is player looking at character, the macro we checked earlier. We have the object to activate in the view angle, and I'm going to go to the world to show that. We have the statue O2 blueprint, which is this little guy right here that was exploding earlier. And we have the view angle and the look at duration, which is exactly the same as the tutorial, and it was working just fine. Now, let's continue to remember if we are looking, the Boolean is set to true, or not looking, to disable that Boolean. And then we wait, and then we check with the branch if it's looking or not. And then we're going to activate the object just once. So that's a safe use of tick event. And the creation. I did not expect to have a creative way of showing and displaying this in use today, since I am behind. But I was expecting to be able to show that. So I'm going to change that to yellow. Now we go into our double trigger, and that's right here. We can see that on component begin overlap of the smaller collision component, we lift, or in this case rotate, and on the end overlap of the outer trigger, we lower. Next is the environmental puzzle, and with that, we will begin the walkthrough. I need you to stay inside, chair. Let's see if that works. And this statue did explode. From here, let's go ahead and look at our point light. If we're not looking, it turns off. If we're looking, it turns on. My double trigger will start to rotate this now that I'm in, but once I step out, it'll undo, reverse the rotation. And here's where I could stand before, and for 0.8 seconds, look at that statue and watch it explode. Not today, though. Thank you so much. I am open to criticism and suggestions, tips, tricks, and I look forward to presenting my final project this weekend. Have a great rest of your evening.